The following podcast is a mass media production.
Hey, this is Chad Namiro.
And I'm Kelley Namiro. Welcome to the Balancing Chaos podcast,
A lifestyle podcast where we will interview guests about wellness, business, and just about everything in between.
Our goal is to help you develop a lifestyle that promotes health, wholeness, and success. Through our conversations, we hope to inspire you to live a beautiful, full, and joyful life as you navigate balancing the chaos.
We hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we have a special guest, a good friend of ours, Dalin Overbay. She is an esthetician based out of Vegas and someone my wife spends an inordinate amount of time and likely money with. Really fascinating episode. As a guy, I wouldn't say I paid too much attention to my skincare regimen, but she actually gave some really insightful advice and recommendations on just some of the things we can do to kind of stay young, stay healthy, and I think you'll find it interesting.
Yeah, Chad actually got a lot of tips out of this one about staying out of the sun and what are a couple of serums that a guy could use to help his skin. We talked a little bit about his wrinkles and botox, so stay tuned for that. But we are really excited because Dalin really started helping me back when I got pregnant with West and I started noticing dark spots on my face, and she is the real deal. She knows all about skin and what are the best things for whatever specific conditions you might be dealing with. So like I said, we went into, sun, we talked about acne, we talked about wrinkles, we talked about what are the best things to do for a morning and evening routine, and so much more. We talk about diet and how your mentality can really affect what your skin looks like. So let's get into this episode. We hope you guys enjoy and that your skin is glowing on the other side of it.
Looking for the trusted resource for luxury Las Vegas real estate? The Ivan Share Group is the expert in the Las Vegas luxury real estate market, specializing in high-end homes and luxury high-rise properties. The Ivan Share Group is a dynamic team of leading real estate experts dedicated to client satisfaction. Their extensive expertise in Las Vegas and Henderson allows them to help luxury homebuyers find their dream homes no matter what their needs are. They're dedicated to helping you buy, sell, or invest. Contact Ivan and his team directly at 702-315-0223 or visit www.isluxury.com to learn what they do differently. The Ivan Share Group is luxury and your trusted resource for luxury Las Vegas real estate.
All right, you guys, we are here today with my favorite, Dalin. I see her like once a month for my skin. And when I started going to her, my skin was really out of control. The dark spots were rampant. And it was, I think, like right when I had gotten pregnant with Wes. So it's been a couple of years now, but every time I leave that office, I am glowing what feels like from the inside out. The amount of depth she gets with those facials, and they're perfectly customized, is incredible. So without further ado, Dalin, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.
I am so excited to give our listeners a little bit more insight into skincare, because I know it's what so many women, especially those of us in our like late 20s, 30s, and into our 40s, really care about, is like aging gracefully and getting rid of those dark spots, all of that kind of stuff. You have anything to say about that from a male point of view?
Yeah, the male perspective are the skincare neglectors, so always interested to hear tips and recommendations. And it's candidly something that I haven't paid as close attention to, but I'm getting a bit older. I found a few wrinkles the other day that my wife pointed out, so
I didn't point them out. I did not point them out. We took a photo. What happened was we took a photo, and Chad looked at the photo. He said, "Wow, I got a lot of wrinkles."
Yeah.
And actually, before we were recording, just now, Dalin asked him. She said, "Would you get Botox?" What was your answer?
Not yet.
Maybe.
A few more wrinkles.
A few more wrinkles. Just a little baby talks.
I wear hats though, so I'm making progress in the sun.
Do you feel like a lot of men would get Botox?
Oh, Yes.
Yeah.
So can I tell you, since I actually want to share this, a little tidbit of information. June of 2020 was Allergan's biggest month in the history of the company. And Allergan is who makes Botox. So think about that. And male and female. And then the plastic surgeon that I work for, Dr. Mary Hurdy, has been doing so many more male surgeries this last year. I think a lot more men are looking at themselves on Zoom.
Yeah.
And a lot of men are working from home, and so they can hide. They don't have to go in case they get a little bruise.
Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They can hide at home.
They all the post-surgery.
They put a mask on. You know, if they're having an even filler in their jawline, because men do sometimes lose, elasticity around their jawline. So.
And you can use it in your armpits, right, to stop the sweat?
Yeah, you can.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, a lot of people do. And actually, for TMJ, I've had it done for temporal mandibular joint.
Really?
In your jaw, you hold
The
it
click?
tight.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've
how
had that done too.
Good that feels. And for headaches, for migraines.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's multifaceted.
It really is, and it actually slims the face.
It does.
as well if you do it in the jawline, which is really interesting. But let's rewind for a second. I want to start by letting our listeners know a little bit about yourself, your background. I know where you came from and all that, but go ahead and give us.
So I've been a practicing esthetician for almost 2 decades, which is crazy to me.
And you guys, she looks like she's 25. It's crazy, her skin.
Thank you, but I have to tell you, and I always tell people, yes, I have amazing genetics. My parents look like they were still 30 when they were 50.
Yeah.
So I come from, I was lucky to, like, the perfect storm of parents with great genetics. But so I've always had a love for skin. I first started paying attention to skin. My father's mother had the most amazing skin. And I remember my first recollection was in the 2nd grade looking at her and saying, "Grandma, why do you have such pretty skin?" She's like, "Lavender oil."
So I wish it was that simple.
I know. I've never, and plus she never actually exposed herself to the sun very much. But so anyway, so I'd always have a love for it, and I'd always just really been aware of what I put in my body, because I have literally been, well, we always called it vegetarian, and now everyone's saying plant-based, for most of my life, because I love animals, sometimes more than people. And it's just, I say I came out of the womb that way. I just have never wanted to eat them.
Yeah.
So I've never had a steak.
I don't think it shows. It shows on your skin.
And so I always felt like I kind of always looked pretty good, and I didn't really understand what that meant. Okay. So I'll fast forward a little bit. So I went to school, went to college, I got a degree in pre-dietetics, and I thought I was going to become a dietitian. Well, it was way too clinical, and I was counseling some diabetics and doing some stuff with I'm from Washington State, so I was doing some stuff with the state nutrition consultant, and it wasn't feeding my I just didn't feel it. And I also felt like I was too young to really understand why a diabetic wouldn't give up sugar.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat that candy bar, but you're going to have your foot amputated.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't in my wheelhouse to deal with that. So anyway, I got into the biotech sector, because I understood the language of science, and then I got into that catapulted me into managing databases of all things, right?
I can't even imagine.
I know. So, but yes, because I was sort of the liaison between the marketing department and the engineers, which they spoke that language, but then I had the personality to talk to the marketing people. So anyway, then I got into the whole .com boom, because remember, the internet hasn't been around forever. I remember when we used to say www.whatever.com. Remember? Back in the day.
That was a couple years ago even. Yeah.
I know. So I got into that world, and I just wasn't feeling very purposeful. Like, that wasn't driving me anymore. And there was a lot of volatility in that world where I kept getting like, okay, this company, do you want to move to Palo Alto? Okay, this company's gone. The redundancy in management, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So I had an esthetician that I was seeing at the time, because I've always taken really good care of my skin. And she said, Seattle has one of the best aesthetic school in the nation. It's like number 3. And it's an Ayurvedic holistic
Love it.
School started by a woman from Switzerland. And I said, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm like, I'm taking a year off in my life, and I'm in. So
I love it.
So I went through that. I'm going to keep going.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just a little bit more. So I got into the holistic piece, and I love that. But at the same time, my little science brain, because, I do have a science background, like, I want a little bit more. I want to fix people a little bit more. So I said, when I get out of school, I'm going to go work in a clinical setting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find a way to marry those two modalities. And I did it. My first job was working for one of the best facial plastic surgeons in Washington.
Okay, I love this because I think that you and I really see eye to eye on the whole thing, that it comes from the inside out. We've had that conversation while I've been sitting in your chair. Yeah. But I personally don't think that there's any harm in putting a little extra oomph into what's going to make you look your best. And so that kind of leads me into the question about like peels and lasers. So tell us what your thoughts are first on peels, and then...
So peels are an integral part of when you come to see me. I don't really even ever ask you if you want to have a peel. Sorry. I always will do, like, I'm throwing in some lactic acid because I call that the pretty chemical, because it's hydrophilic. So it brings water into your skin cells. And we live in the desert.
Yeah.
Everybody needs it. Yeah. And I think it's one of the most perfect things to put on your skin. Yeah. I feel like sometimes people do too many peels at a high concentration. Yeah. Your skin starts to look actually older, tired, dull.
So we're talking about the peels that make you really actually peel and get flaky.
Peels are kind of hard. So, I mean, you've got the group, the alpha hydroxys, the beta hydroxys. So, all heard of glycolic, salicylic, lactic, trichloroacetic acid. Okay, when I first started out in plastic surgery, I was doing trichloroacetic acid peels where you could get a Vicodin, and I had to cool you because I was doing a controlled burn. We do not do those anymore. And if someone's doing that to you anymore, it causes too much inflammation. Yeah. It's just not good for our bodies, and we've learned that's not good for our bodies.
Yeah. I told you about the peel that I had before my wedding. Yeah. I literally could not even come to work for like 10 days because I looked like a reptile. It was
intense.
Yeah. you know the company who's just got it together, and it's an LA-based company called VI Peel? Yeah. I love their peels. The way that they've formulated them, people can actually manage their life. Okay. You peel basically on day 3 and 4, but they're not painful. You can go out into the world. You don't have to hide, but you get a really good result. It's just this nice synergy of chemicals that they've mixed together.
Okay, so if you recommend one peel, it's the VI peel, and you're going to get removed dark spots. What else are you going to get from it?
Fine lines. You're going to have less fine lines. You're actually going to you can actually bring your skin back into balance a bit too. Mm-hmm. You'll notice that your oiliness and dryness a lot of times will come back into balance because it's helping your skin cells that are aging. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you're teaching them how to be young baby cells again. Okay. So it's like all the skin cells are starting to talk to each other. That's the best way in layman's term. Right. Because skin wants to function. It wants to do what it's meant to do. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing organ. Really I get excited talking about skin. It's like this is such a cool organ. I have friends say, "Aren't you afraid sometimes when you do peels?" I'm like, no. It's so resilient, and if you do things the right way, it's gonna look good. Mm-hmm. But you gotta listen to your esthetician. Yeah. You gotta listen to your esthetician. It's important. So, and to find a good one. Yeah. To find a really good one that listens.
Do you feel like most of the industry, in your opinion, knows what they're doing, or is it a little bit of a
we talk about this too.
I don't want to put down my industry, but I think sometimes estheticians will get a laser in their hand and just do it on anybody for anything when that person shouldn't be getting a laser. Yeah. That person should be learning how to take care of their skin at home and starting with something kind of mellow, just kind of easing them into it, because you can, and then it becomes this cycle where people get more frustrated and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to do this.
I'm not getting the result.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. And then, oh my God, I look worse. And now, it's, I think way back when I started all those years ago, I think estheticians were a little bit better back then. Yeah. We were a little more mindful because we didn't have as much access to lasers. where we really had to think about the skin and how it functioned and how it healed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like, I just feel like sometimes people are in it for a quick buck.
So who is the right candidate for a laser, and what is the best laser if you're going to go that route?
Okay, so everybody's a candidate for a little bit of laser, maybe. Not a lot of laser unless you have really bad acne scars.
Okay.
Okay, acne scars, yes. We do a laser in our office called Resurfix. It's a luminous laser, Resurfix FX, and it's a non-ablative. And non-ablative means you don't look like pizza face.
Okay.
You know, like Sex in the City when remember Samantha had the red face? Everyone knows that face, right? So that's what it kind of looks like. And it truly makes the skin more and more beautiful. Like collagen is stimulated over the months. Like I see people that have it 5-6 months down the road, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
wow. And I'm talking my 60s, 70s year old patients, their skin's really regenerating. Okay, so having said that, and also IPL, intense pulse light, which goes after red and browns. Okay. That's something you can do a few times a year. And
So if you want to get rid of dark spots.
Yes, dark spots. You have to prep the skin appropriately because laser, remember, heat brings out pigment in the skin. Okay, so you have to prep, meaning you have to shut down your melanocytes.
Okay.
And melanocytes are what cause melanin, and the melanin is those brown spots. So basically, it's the skin saying, "Oh, I have a wound. I got to go fix it," and so all that melanin rushes to the surface. So when you're going to get a laser, it's heat. So you have to shut it down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it's hard for me to put this in layman's terms, or I feel like I'm giving you guys all of it. So I think what happens with lasers is all these little med spas are popping up everywhere. Everybody wants to make money. Okay, let's do this laser and this laser and then you start to look like you have this red, burnt.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people post CO2 laser, which is when a doctor does it, it's surgical.
Right.
They look, their skin doesn't have any more suppleness to it or bounce.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you're young.
Because you're 30 and you look like you're my age. You shouldn't look like, when you're 30, you should look really good.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I think lasers can be abused. And I think another thing, it's a quick fix.
Yeah.
We like instant gratification, right?
We do.
And we think that, ooh, I'm going to have new collagen in 2 weeks for my birthday.
Yeah.
That's not how the skin works.
And there is downtime with this stuff, right? Like,
So the Resurfix laser that we do, you're going to leave this. You're going to leave the office and you're going to be red, a little red, tight and dry. But generally, no, because it's heating at a deeper level in the dermal layer, and that's what's causing the fibroblasts to produce collagen. So it's not ablating the surface.
Right.
When you ablate the surface,
with something like what, like Fraxel?
yes, a lot of times Fraxels or CO2s.
Yeah.
You know, or like those really high high level chemical peels that you said you had.
Yeah.
Do you know which one you had?
I can't remember if I feel like it started with an M, but like I don't remember the name of it. It was like really thick and orange, and they told me to leave it on for like 4 or 5 hours.
I know which one it was. I just don't want to say it.
Yeah,
But I know which one it was.
So don't do that if someone tells
What'd you put on my face that one time? Felt like a laser.
One time we were in New York, and I convinced Chad to do a mask with me.
Yeah.
Just like an at-home goop. It was like literally.
Oh, yeah.
You know the one, like the exfoliating one?
Oh, yeah.
His face broke out into this
Severe
crazy rash.
I know why.
Why?
Because Chad does not prep his skin like you
No.
do. Chad does
That's
not
true.
feed his skin like you do. Okay?
See, there we go.
So you have a compromised barrier.
Okay.
Kelly doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So that wasn't like an allergic reaction of any
No.
type? It's just
Generally, no.
my skin's not used to it.
How long did it last?
We
We went to dinner. It was fine by that.
See, no, the allergic reaction. And you would have had other symptoms probably from allergic reaction.
We put some
Cortisone cream.
emergency cream on of some sort, and it cleared it
I
right
love
out.
that goop mask. I know which one you're talking about, but sometimes, that one
It's
can,
intense.
especially in the desert. Again,
Yeah.
it's better if you're in California or even where I'm from.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to use.
Hydrating. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So here's a question for my lovely husband. If you have a man who wants to, because we're on this topic, I
Yes.
feel like it's like just very relevant. If you have a guy who you say like, okay, these are like 3 products, because anything more than that, Chad will be overwhelmed.
Oh yes, I know. Yeah,
Anything more. So what would those 3 things be?
a cleanser.
Okay.
Okay, so I always say cleansers, and I say this all the time. Please be mindful when you're cleansing your face. Okay, so there's this short contact thing that happens where people they go like this, like, and they're done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a quick thing, and it's a lot of friction, but it's really quick.
Right.
Nothing's absorbing.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Well, you recommend with the hands or
Hands.
thumb?
Your hands.
Yeah.
I love hands.
Yeah, I got one of those ultrasonic brushes that lasted like 10 minutes.
Oh, the Clarisonic
Yeah.
brush. They went out of business last
They did.
year.
They did.
I don't know why.
So hands, okay.
So massage. I always tell people, and men aren't going to do this, but you should cleanse your face for like a full minute. It's like brushing your teeth appropriately,
Yeah.
right? So cleanse your skin for a full minute.
Okay.
If you can. Okay, get around your nose, your forehead, where you have more oil, your chin, right into your beard line. Moisturizer. Moisturizer. Do you know why you need a moisturizer? I like to
keep
ask
my
men
skin
this.
hydrated,
Yes.
and then with sunscreen during the day.
Yes. So
Yeah.
those are the 3 things.
Okay.
What about if you have bad blackheads?
Okay. So the massage component of washing your face
It's gonna get rid of those?
helps. So if we can get a little extra, Chad, we could do 2 different cleansers. So you could do a cleanser that you used every day, like something creamy, or I mean, I can tell you run on the dry side because you have really small pores, right? So
Small pores are a good thing.
it's a very good thing.
High five.
Yeah.
Hey.
High five. You got that from your parents. You know, that's genetics
Probably.
right there. Yeah.
Probably.
He had no control over that. That's God given. So if you can do a cleanser a couple times a week that perhaps has a salicylic or any kind of an alpha hydroxy acid, or even an enzyme like a papaya or pineapple enzyme, something that causes an enzymatic reaction. So something that actually goes.
Exfoliates.
Yes, exfoliates in a nice way. I don't want you to use anything gritty. It's just
Yeah,
not
like that St.
The St.
Ives.
Ives apricot.
Do you know that I walked
Love
by
that
it the other
stuff.
day at the grocery store? Or no, I was at the drugstore and I went, "What the? It's still on the shelf."
Yeah. So that's not good for your face.
No, I literally have a visceral reaction. Like it causes micro tears in your skin. These little kernels have like under a microscope, they have like jagged edges.
I hate to hear
What
that.
what?
Yeah, no, not good.
I don't understand why people are. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think we think that friction. First of all, I think we think we're dirty.
Right. With like the oil, and you feel like
But-
after a long day. Yeah.
You get sweaty, and you have
Right.
environmental stuff that
Right.
attaches to your face, and then you have the wind, and you have the dust in Vegas, and it attaches, and humidity, and a humid environment causes more oil to be secreted on the face. But it's not dirt. I mean, you're not really dirty, you know. So anyway,
And when you really get in there and cleanse with your hands, you're
Yes.
gonna get all that.
yeah, exactly. So I was going to say, when you massage your face, you get your lymph moving, and you literally start to, and especially if you're using this alpha hydroxy or an enzyme cleanser, even a few times a week, you'll notice less. So I always tell people the nose, it's so important to massage your nose to get that oil to flow out.
Right.
It needs to have movement. The skin needs stimulation. And so the more you stimulate, because skin can get kind of rigid. So the more you move it, it like just flows. That oil just flows. We
Gotcha.
want that oil to be on our skin because that secretes vitamin E. That helps slow down our aging process. We need that. That's our waterproofing. So
So from there,
yeah.
you mentioned something that I really liked, which is moving the lymph, which is something you do every time I come into your office.
It's my thing.
Facial massage.
Yeah.
So I know that you think that that's something that should be incorporated into like anyone's skincare routine.
Yes.
And I know we have a lot of listeners that are, you know, between ages of like young 20s to like 50s.
Right.
So with the inclusion of lymphatic massage on your face, or just massaging your face in general, just so people get the idea, what other things do you recommend for a woman for her skincare routine?
So same thing that I said that Chad should be using.
Cleanser.
So, or any men. So find a good cleanser. So there is this psychology of cleansers where we feel like we need them to be foaming.
Yeah.
Totally.
Same with hair.
Yeah.
We think we need something that really foams up and we don't think that we're being cleansed well enough. Right. So I always tell those people, if you really want that sensation of feeling cleansed, then double cleanse, and if you have to, triple cleanse. I don't recommend that for everybody, but finding a cleanser that really works for you. You should never feel squeaky clean, and you should never feel tight. Like you wiggle your nose and like, oh my God, I got to get my moisturizer on right away.
Yeah.
You should never feel that way. You've just stripped your barrier.
Yeah.
You've just stripped your barrier protection. Do you want to know like what are the things I think like they should be in
any
the skin?
serums or like anything like that?
So my cornerstones, everyone should have like in your 20s, even if you want to start doing earlier, vitamin C serum. And I'm going to say that I think SkinCeuticals vitamin C, the CE Ferulic or the Flora 10 CF, I have been using it for over probably 12 years now. And I honestly give credit to that product for my skin.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And paired with a sunscreen, it really helps slow down the aging process.
Okay.
So, and I also like hyaluronic acids because they really help bind moisture to your skin. They hold 1,000 times their weight in moisture, but they have to be married to a moisturizer because they are looking for moisture. And if they're not finding it in the air, they will take it from you internally and you'll feel dry.
So
Does
if
that
you
make
did
sense?
so if you put your like hyaluronic acid could you put it with an oil or would you put it with an moisturizer?
You just need some ceramide. You need some kind of like something kind of unctuous like on it, you know, like bonded to it.
Okay. Yeah. Eye cream?
You know what? Yes. Do I use one every day? No.
Okay.
I use some oils around my eyes. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
You know, some people are drier in the eye area. I don't like to put my moisturizer in the eye area because a lot of times you'll start to get like bumps and sometimes, you know, I'll see a little amelia in the eye area from that, those little white kernels that we get, and the jury's still out on exactly what causes that, but they're actually little keratinized skin, like they're hard. So don't try to remove those yourself, people, because you will break a capillary generally. I had a guy, I'll tell you this, years ago, I had a guy who had amelia on his face. It was huge, and he'd had it for almost 10 years. He never had an esthetician that can remove it, and I literally, he was so thankful.
Was it the most like satisfying thing in the entire world?
Yeah.
I know how that feels.
He was so happy, and I'm like, God, how did you not find anyone to remove that thing? Sorry, I went off topic on that. But there are some skins, and I have to tell you, the two skins, him and another guy, are the two that I literally think about. I saw a guy one time who had blackheads, and I could see them from across the room.
You're like,
coming at me, yeah. He was a longshoreman and had never washed his face. He never cleansed his skin.
That's crazy.
That's called acne surgery, and it was like, it literally took me 2 visits to take care of his skin. So sorry, anyway, that was...
No, I love hearing these stories because honestly, it's satisfying for me. Like,
I get excited when I see stuff like that because I'm like, oh, there's going to be...
Let me get in there.
Well, I like solutions. I'm going to fix this, and he's going to, you know, but the dermatologist I work for, I'm like, we going to need to suture some of these? Anyway.
It's like the Sistine Chapel for estheticians.
Yeah.
Getting to work.
Right? Yeah. So let's see. So vitamin C serum. Oh, retinol.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to ask you about that. So you, for any age?
Okay. So when you're young, you're still exfoliating at a pretty rapid rate. Okay.
Male and female, is there a big difference there, or just depends on genetics?
Genetics. Men, you're shaving at an early age.
Right.
So you're exfoliating more by shaving, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, retinols are tough because a lot of people love them and a lot of people hate them.
Yeah.
The dermatologist I worked for said there will never be anything in our lifetime that will be better than a retinol.
Right.
It is considered a wonder drug. And it changes skin. Okay, so Retin A is what a dermatologist is going to give you if you have really oily acneic skin. And that's also called tretinoin. They're all in the vitamin A family, and that also includes Accutane, which I don't even want to go into that world because that's a whole different dermatology. Yeah, that's a lot.
Everyone knows that name, though.
Yeah, Accutane. And they're microdosing Accutane now. I will say they're doing a much better job at handling that. So, and I see some beautiful skin from it. So there's Retin A, and I call that like the rabbit when it hits your skin. It goes really fast and hard, and you get really dry, red, itchy. It can be tough, but so what it's doing is it's keeping the skin in a constant state of exfoliation. So it tells the skin, bring new skin cells to the surface, bring new skin cells to the surface. And so why you want that with acne is a lot of times that can get congested in your pore, and you have the marriage of that oil and inflammatory response from, we didn't even get into that yet, so why you have an inflammatory response in your follicle. Okay, so that's a whole separate piece for acne. And then there's retinol. So that's also a retinol, and they all become retinoic acid when they're actually performing the chemical action in the skin.
Right. And some people use it for fine lines, right?
Yes. So basically what happens is if you're exfoliating your skin at a rapid rate, you're going to get new skin, and so it's always going to look fresh.
Okay.
Fresh on your face. So this is what I tell people. Start off slow. If you want to even buy something over the counter, I'm not a huge fan of that. I would rather you go get something from SkinCeuticals. Osmosis I also work with. Sunday Riley actually even has an oil retinol. Yeah. And then there's other things like rose, I would get this confused, rose hip seed oil that actually has a naturally occurring vitamin A.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have an actual product that I'm obsessed with right now.
Could you use that if you were pregnant?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Because you're not supposed to use Retin A.
You're not supposed to use Retin A's or any kind of vitamin A derivative products because it can cause birth defects.
Right. But that's a natural one. So that's awesome.
But it's safe otherwise?
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally
Is
safe.
it over the counter?
It's called, so there, you can find them in different products, but my new favorite one is called by a company called Pai, P-A-I. And it's called Regenerate, and they also have a cleanser and a mask. But that's the nice thing about the skincare world today. There's so many options. Yeah, it's just there's also a lot of shit too. Sorry.
No, yeah, there's a lot of shit, and you want to make sure that you're getting what you pay for, which I think is a good topic of conversation for us to get into. Is there anything that you would recommend someone look for when they're buying skincare products?
So don't go to CVS. Yep.
Well, okay, here's something at CVS you can buy. It's a company called Bioderma.
Okay.
They make the best micellar water, and it's like kind of like in place of your toner.
Yeah, or you can take off get makeup with it, right? Yeah.
So I think Bioderma was it's a French. The Europeans know how to do skincare. The Europeans and the Koreans, they do beautiful skincare. Then there's another company called La Roche-Posay you can actually find in the drugstore now. I'm trying to think. Oh, and you know where you can find at different health food stores is a company that I absolutely love, and I actually have my boyfriend on this moisturizer. It's by Weleda. Have you heard of Weleda?
Yeah, they make hair products too.
I love Weleda moisturizer, and it's in a
Let me get you some Weleda moisturizer.
Oh my gosh! So I said to my boyfriend the other day, I go, how do you feel now that you've been using a moisturizer for a while? He goes, I cannot believe I went this long with dry skin. I cannot believe that I didn't have this in my life before, because he goes, I look so much better.
There you go.
So is Neutrogena and Cetaphil, and are those all pretty much shit?
So I can't really say much about Neutrogena. I follow some estheticians on Instagram who think that pieces of Neutrogena are getting better, they're being more mindful in what they're creating.
I think that's what most guys use, though, honestly. Yeah. Right?
My guy has Neutrogena in the shower. I think I
Yeah.
told you guys that. It's
Yeah.
like his like.
You think you're doing the right thing, but you're not. It's
But
unfortunate.
if you cleanse, okay, here's something about guys. They continue producing oil almost into their 70s. I
Yeah.
mean, we're stopping in our 30s and 40s. So
Really?
think about that.
Wow.
So you have more oil on your face, so you can handle a Neutrogena more so than Kelley and myself can handle Neutrogena. You shouldn't be, because I think there's a lot of crap in some of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think of my moisturizer, there's like acetyl alcohol. Does that sound right? Or something of that? I use Jack Black.
Oh, I think that's fine.
Is that decent?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's the deal.
Trying to get my regimen down
Here's
here.
the deal. Moisturizers are all about comfort.
Okay.
I always tell people that. If they're giving you comfort, they're working.
Okay.
If you feel like you still need to put more moisturizer on during the
I
day,
feel dry, yeah.
you're not using the right one.
Okay.
So you could get
Yeah, I need to
extra.
switch.
You can get extra. Okay, so go to that line and see if they have anything more rich, like richer. I tell a lot of women who love their moisturizer, if you want to add a moisture booster, oils. I love oils.
Yeah, you do.
I
I feel like I always look good
love
when I leave there because I have oil on my skin.
I love oils. I think there's so many good oils on the market, and almost everyone has a good oil these days. Herbivore kind of was the first, I think, that really started. And if you look on the Herbivore website, you can find, I think, is Herbivore at Sephora? I don't go into Sephora much for skincare. I find that when I'm walking in there and I listen to some of them talk to their clients about skincare, I just go, no, I can't. It's wrong, it hurts my heart. So, but if you look in the Herbivore website, they will actually walk you through if you're an oily skin, a sensitized skin, there's an oil for everyone.
Oh,
Okay.
that's awesome.
I love that line for that. Kind of drawing a blank on who else. I love Joanna Vargas oils. Vintner's Daughter is good.
Yeah.
So expensive.
It's really expensive.
And I think it's mainly jojoba oil.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, it's got some other really
Active
pretty,
botanicals.
oh, I know what I love, and I'll tell you why I love it, is Osmosis makes an oil called Nourish, and it has sea buckthorn oil in it.
Oh, yeah.
I love sea buckthorn oil.
Because doesn't it like help regenerate your skin too?
Yes, but sea buckthorn oil is magical if you have sensitive red or acneic skin. Because a lot of oily people are afraid of putting, they think it's going to like really congest their skin. If they're afraid to put it on their skin, but if they put an oil, sea buckthorn oil, it's so good.
So I want to talk about that because my lovely husband never had to deal with acne in his life, which he's so lucky for. But I know myself.
Nothing ever?
No, not really.
You sound like my mom.
My sisters, though. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Like myself, when I was 16, actually 15, I was on Accutane.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of my clients, something that they struggle with because it comes from within, right? It's an inflammatory response, and your skin is just where that inflammation is showing up. So can you tell us a little bit about acne and then what you would do as like a couple of steps, whether it's food you're eating or products you're using to help clear that up?
Okay. So acne, a lot of people say acne is hormonal. Yes, it is. It plays a role. But acne truly, I think, comes from genetics.
Yeah.
Chad, that's why
Has to be.
you don't have it.
Yeah.
It's an inside job.
Yeah.
It really, I always tell people, give up dairy, give up white flour, give up sugar, give up some of those things, like check yourself, like figure it out. Go for a couple weeks. Take one of those things away to see what your skin looks like.
Yeah. I know when my friend Brooke, who also goes to you told her, because she was getting really bad hormonal breakouts on her chin, or she thought they were hormonal. You told her to cut out dairy for like 2 or 3 weeks. She did. They literally completely went away.
Dairy just causes a mild inflammatory response for people. Okay, so I want to say this for some people. Everyone handles this detox load, that food, chemicals that we're surrounded by, what we're cleaning with, what we're washing our hair with.
Plastic.
Everyone handles it differently. Everyone handles their detox load differently. you probably, Chad, handle your detox load better maybe than Kelley did when she was that age. I've never really had acne either, a little bit in my 30s. So I handle that detox load. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So detox load is what you're putting into your body, okay? And so then remember your skin is a purging organ.
Right.
So it's all about how you purge. Some people just purges out nicely, okay? Some people, you've got the perfect storm of just the right amount of oil, just the right amount of bacteria, and that inflammatory response from that food.
Right.
And there you go.
And
There's acne.
So what do you do? Like, if you, besides food, what do you do?
So I always tell people, okay, so say you don't handle your detox load well, okay? If you are taking really good care of your barrier, if you're taking really good care in feeding and nourishing and not overstripping your skin, you will handle that better. So that pimple on your face that might have been there for 10 days may only be there for 2 days.
Okay.
So I think that's important for people to think about, that maybe if you decide, I'm just going to eat cheese and I'm going to have a cookie every day, that's fine. Live your life, do your thing, but your skin might not handle it well. But if you're taking good care of your skin, that's
won't be as
important.
prolonged.
Yeah, exactly. So don't overstrip your skin. If you're an acne patients are generally, they all think they're oily. They're generally just highly sensitized skins because they've been stripping. They think that getting every acid, every scrub on their face is going to take it away. You're actually making it worse. You have to be...
don't overly dry it out.
No, you have to be mindful of that. The skin has to stay in this sort of just this pretty balance. You got to find a balance, and if you don't have that balance, then you might have breakouts, and you'll also have red skin that doesn't glow, and you'll have that compromised, uneven tone. Am I explaining that okay?
Yeah, no, I think that's super helpful. Is there any one, because I know we talked about Retin-A, but is there any one serum or cream or anything, or laser procedure that someone with bad acne should do? Where would you tell them what's the one thing to start with?
Finding the perfect cleanser again.
Yeah.
I think cleansers get kind of pushed to the side.
Yeah.
And they're so important. I love enzymatic action cleansers, papaya and pineapple cleansers. And you can find a lot of them. Theraderm is my favorite. I've been using it for years. A tube of it's like $27.
How do you feel about people getting put on antibiotics for acne?
Okay, so I was just listening to this doctor talk about antibiotics and how our normal flora bacteria that lives on our face, we've got 1,000 species of bacteria on our face. It's so good at decoding.
Yeah.
It's so good. So use this topical or oral antibiotic. After a while, it figures out how to decode that antibiotic. So it might go away for a little while, and then it comes back.
That is exactly what happened to me.
Your skin, so here's the thing I'm saying again, is your skin is this amazing organ that is here to protect you and to take care of you and wants to highly function. And we're stripping it, and we're not thinking about what we're doing internally.
Yeah.
So is there one wonder drug? No. Cleansing appropriately. Yes, getting retinol into your life. And this is how I tell people to use retinol, so that you can actually see a difference without all the bad side effects. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, take the weekend off. And I'm talking a pea size of it. And please don't rub your face. Please press it into your skin. You get better contact with it. Use it only at night. Your body temperature rises at night, and that's when your body is rejuvenating. So you want to put it on that. You'll get better absorption.
Oh,
okay.
All really great tips.
Yeah, I always like to put a lot of those really active serums on our face, peptides, growth factors, anything. Do it at night. You're going to get much better absorption. And please remember that you're not going to get a good absorption of anything you put on your face if you're not exfoliating a little bit. And when I say exfoliating, I'm not saying overstripping.
Yeah.
I'm just saying just get that dead layer off your face.
quickly pausing this episode of the show to let you know that my private one-on-one coaching container is now open. Over the course of 2021, I'm only going to be working with a small, select group of women to help them return to feeling like they're at home in their bodies, to help them lose resistant weight, to feel less anxious and more energized. My one-on-one coaching is truly for you if you're tired of feeling depleted, overwhelmed, bloated, or like you're just not enough. There's no magic pill or cleanse or detox that's going to work. You are really ready to make that commitment to yourself and create the habits that will lead you to hormonal balance and vibrant health. I'm here to help you get to the root cause and create meaningful change. If you're feeling called to work with me so that you can finally feel at home in your body, head to the link in the show notes to learn more.
Maybe there's more misinformation on than perhaps anything for guys, and that is that big orange glowing ball in the sky and the sun, right? I think I grew up thinking that it has vitamin D.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get burned, you're good to go.
And now he's like so scared of the sun, like
For
literally.
my face, because I started getting wrinkles. We're getting Botox. It's all good.
Well, the sun does age you. That is what ages you.
Yeah, I mean, but what's the strategy there? Get some sun,
Get
some sun, but don't get it on your face. I mean, it's confusing, the whole thing.
My face hasn't seen the sun since, I don't know, 1992.
Dalin is anti-sun. You guys heard it here.
Short sleeve.
I love the sun. I love the sun.
Yeah.
You are going to pigment from the sun unless you
It's
keep
just not-
reapplying sunscreen. And a pigment is the way of the body's taking care of your wound.
Sunscreen or a hat or both?
Both. And then I golf a lot.
Yeah.
18 holes is anywhere
Here's
from
the
3.5.
deal, Chad. Enjoy your
multiple,
life. Okay, enjoy your life. Go to your dermatologist once a year and have your skin checked.
Okay.
But just be really mindful about sunscreen. Oh, another sunscreen that I love, and I don't know if they have much for men, is Supergoop.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I was literally just talking about that today.
So Supergoop they have sprays. I think they have compacts. Oh my gosh. They even have
They have a hand cream.
Yeah, they have a hand cream.
So good.
They have an eye cream.
I love it. Sunscreen.
I love Supergoop sunscreen. Yeah.
Is the mineral sunscreen good?
Yeah, I like a mineral. That's a physical.
Okay.
I like a physical more than a chemical.
Right.
And I also, a lot of times, one thing about acne, a lot of people that have acne don't respond well to chemical sunscreens. It really kind of almost exacerbates their condition, and they get more red and irritated. So, although sometimes everything you put on acne can irritate it. So I have to. One thing I want to go back to the acne thing is, be gentle with your skin with acne, and really, truly, if you can find an esthetician to help you kind of walk through the healing, because acne needs to be healed.
Yeah.
You need to get into a healing state. Don't continue to burn your face with products.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
did I answer your question about sunscreen? I mean, wear sunscreen. Go out into the world. Please enjoy yourself, because I love Hawaii, and I will never stop going to Hawaii. When I go, I wear a hat and people always tell me I have feet that look like a second grader because I have no pigment on my feet. And I have really, for being my age, I don't have much on my hands.
No, you look amazing. It's crazy.
And how often, generally, would you have to reapply? I think most guys, including myself, 1 layer, that should be good for a few days.
Just go to sleep, take a shower, you're fine.
Yeah, I think.
It's absorbed. Wouldn't that be great if they could find a sunscreen that could just live in your skin, figure that out, some injection?
That would be right.
That person would be rich.
Right. I feel like you should be reapplying often.
Yeah.
Because doesn't the number of the SPF mean the minutes that it's active for?
Yeah. But everyone's different. So some people really burn quickly. Depends on your skin tone.
Right.
How much melanin you have. And do you tan? Did your skin ever tan? Yeah, you tan easily.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
It's hard for me to burn. If it's not burning, you don't think it's a problem. But then you see those commercials under the...
Well, let's say what we were talking about before we went live with this episode.
Yeah.
We were sitting in here talking about how...
Yeah.
Dalin said something like when you're 10, tell us.
Well, it's just we develop a lot of our our sun exposure at a young age, and it lives in our dermal layer. And then as we get older and we are shedding more layers, and our collagen is depleting in our skin, and when your collagen is depleting, like that's how you see more dark circles under the eyes, right? Your skin starts falling a little bit. You get that sagging, and you also start seeing pigment come to the surface.
Yeah.
So, at a young age, you need to actually put sunscreen on your children. And my best friend growing up was a redhead, and so her mother was always making sure we always had sunscreen on. So literally that's another reason why I have pretty good skin. And, but then I also have a father who will not ever get out of the sun, who has had so many precancerous lesions taken off his head and just had his squamous cell taken off his ear. Thank God he still has his ear.
That's crazy.
Yeah. When I was in the dermatology world, though, we saw some pretty intense skin cancers on the face.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. So just reapply. Just keep something in your golf bag and reapply. But find your product, kind of look for something. If it's a spray, get a spray. Just find your product.
Yeah.
And they do make, I'm sure the skincare line, is it called?
Jack Black?
Jack Black. I'm sure they have a sunscreen, right?
Yeah.
They even have sticks. So.
But I do wear a hat. So does that give me any street cred?
It does. It definitely does.
Oh, yeah. Hats are great. Hats are great.
So I know your book's solid, or so my wife has told me.
Yes.
How have you built your business and your clientele?
For some reason, this is a hard one for me to answer.
I think it's word of mouth.
It is. So it's referral.
Most
So,
businesses
when
are.
I gave up my Seattle clients, my patients, it was really hard because that was a lot of years there and a lot of patients. And I would literally have, I opened a restaurant. I had this time period where I opened a restaurant with my ex, and I literally would have some of my patients come into the restaurant for talk to me about skin. It's hysterical. And sometimes some of them will still email me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is years. I've been here for almost 6 years now. Well, I walk the walk. I talk about skin a lot. Kelley, you've given me a ton of patients.
Stop.
And it's so funny, and you'll like this too, Chad. A lot of times they'll ask me if I know much about her dogs. And I'm like, no, I haven't met her dog. Or they'll ask, is Chad nice? And I'm like, I'm assuming Chad is nice.
I haven't met him yet. I actually think you did see someone I do know, I know, that follows me last week. My grandma came to see me.
Oh my God. Your grandma made me miss my grandma. Oh, your grandma. Wow, what a sweet lady.
She texted me afterwards. She's like, that was so enjoyable. I was like, yeah, I know.
So your grandma said something to me interesting, and back to the question about how good are estheticians, or how they take care, are they more mindful these days, or are they good in my field? Your grandma came to me because the esthetician she was seeing was mean to her.
Really?
And
so sad.
That's not good business.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I've been getting a lot of new patients lately from a practice in town where I'm hearing that, and it's like a conveyor belt. They get them in, boom, 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 boom. Okay,
well, medicine in general, you see a lot of that, but continue.
Okay, so the plastic surgeon I work for, Dr. Mary Hurdy, we have this sort of boutiquiness about us, and she takes care of her patients for a year. You have surgery with me, doctor, and she literally follows you for a year to make sure you are good. And that's kind of our concept. It's like we have this sort of concierge care. It's like, I want to know what's going on in your life, what you're doing, because that plays a big part in your skin, your stress. Did you get a divorce? Did someone die? Things, those things all play such a big part. So I take the time, I really hold space. I hold space for my patients.
Yeah.
So, and that's important.
Totally.
Because they can come in and either we're doing maintenance, they just want to do something once a month, or we're fixing something.
Right.
So I'm a good listener.
Yeah,
so stress can very closely cause bad skin?
Oh, so my skin, when I get stressed, I can feel it getting drier and drier and drier. It's like the oil, it's just the heat. Heat depletes the moisture in your skin. And so then I have a compromised barrier. And then if I go home and use that goop mask, it's hellish.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of and also stress can cause sebaceous activity too.
Right.
Some people get really oily from that because your cortisol levels go up. So
it's really interesting.
So I also think, I have to say that my Pilates studio in town, Core has given me a lot of patients as well.
Yeah.
It's because it's a community.
Yeah.
I just believe in community, but so much of it's referral. Like I get, Kelley, your grandma, and I get, I have one patient where I see both her daughters, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so.
Of course.
And I do get patients from doctor as well.
Yeah.
So.
And then just purely out of my own curiosity, and I'm sure others, where does this fall into insurance? Is it covered? No. Do you think it should be?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes acne might be. When I was in dermatology, I would do acne surgery, and I know that it was billed through insurance. But in plastic, cosmetic surgeon's
it's
office,
elective, right?
It's all elective.
Just like going to get Botox.
Yeah. I mean, we don't. It's kind of like, what is it? Eyes. Eyes aren't usually covered under insurance either. Are they?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange. It's the largest organ on our body. It's so exposed and. Anyhow, yeah.
I think acne, though, for kids, that's somewhat degenerative, right?
What?
Acne.
Yeah.
For kids.
I mean, it has a huge effect on your mental health, too. I definitely think.
And that's kind of some of my favorite patients are the ones with acne scars, and just to help them feel better.
In their skin.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, we've all
I'm
seen
really
them.
good at, so I am kind of a skin detective, so I really like to get down to the reasons why your skin is doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
And so that's the kind of esthetician I am.
I think getting to the root cause is the best way to solve any problem.
Yeah, and having my background that I do in nutrition, and I can also read labels.
Yeah.
I know I can look at a skincare
What's in
product.
products.
So a lot of times people give me pictures of all their products or bring them in, and so I can help
That's
figure
so
that
good.
out.
Oh my gosh, because there's so many things. Like I was saying today to my friend Brooke, who sees you.
Yeah.
There was a sunscreen that she was talking about, and that was one of the main ingredients was fragrance, and no one knows that fragrance is actually a really toxic chemical.
Oh, I know.
And they think it just is what's making their products smell good. And it's I think that's so great that you help people to understand that stuff, because most people wouldn't know.
Especially if you are a really sensitized skin that's red and dry or acneic, you don't want fragrance on your skin.
No.
I don't want fragrance on my skin.
It's going to make the problem worse.
There are things you can do that smell good naturally. So I know, but there's another psychology. People like the way things smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so sometimes I kind of go, okay, well, if it's not bothering you and you can handle it, it's a certain patient that can possibly handle it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have two more really important questions before we jump into our quick fire.
Okay.
So the first one is, I know we've talked a little bit about Botox on this episode, but what are your thoughts on, whenever I go get Botox, I'll have people in my DM inbox be like, you know how toxic that is? It's a toxin. And it's like, okay, can you explain why it's actually safe?
Well, it stays in the muscle. Okay. It doesn't migrate. And it's such a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. So I actually had a conversation with Holly. She's our nurse practitioner. She's our master injector. And she's like, it doesn't migrate. You're going to have haters on it for whatever reason. But if you want to achieve a particular look and get rid of a line and a wrinkle that has formed, or that a wrinkle is going to form because you see the lines, you're going to have to step out of you're doing everything else really, really well and right? You're taking care of your body in all these other different ways, but it's not going to cause a reaction in your body. Is that kind of the questions they're asking? You're going to grow another ear?
Yeah, I think that's what people think, that it's like a toxin that's going to be
it's
degenerative.
Oh, you know what Holly told me? She said, talk to them about Gwyneth Paltrow, right? Who's now repping Xeomin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's repping Xeomin. It's a little bit more on the natural side. Okay. But it's still a neurotoxin. So basically what it's doing is it's stopping the movement of the muscle. So.
And she's pretty holistic.
She's super holistic. So she realizes that, you can't be perfect in every facet of your life. But, if you want sometimes a little tweak here and there, and if it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And
That's what I believe.
Let me tell you, when I look at faces that have never had Botox, although I have one patient who's older who's never had Botox, and she's an anomaly.
There's always one of those out there.
Do you know, can I tell you that the patient who has the best skin in my practice is 70 years old?
You've told me that before. That's insane.
I literally, and I wish I could say her name because she should, like...
She should shout it from the rooftops.
But you know what? She has an amazing diet.
Mm-hmm.
She exercises every day. She loves her dog, and she's an artist. Like, she has joy. Like, she just, all those things
It's
internally.
all of the things. I swear when I started meditating, my skin got better. I swear.
It does.
It's crazy.
It really does when you slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you do things that bring you joy. Yeah.
Quickly, how
Yes.
long has Botox been around? And I assume it's been very well researched,
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been around. You know,
but well researched.
it was first...
I mean, it's like the most elective procedure.
Yeah, I assume so. It's very
I
common.
want to say it was first used on cerebral palsy patients way back when.
Uh-huh.
I don't have that in my brain right now, but
And what is
That's
it? Quickly.
botulinum,
I'm just curious.
botulinum toxin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll Google
I mean,
that.
you know what? Here's what you do, people. Go to the websites, you know, that manufacture these products. Go to Xeomin, go to Dysport, go to Botox. Look at them.
Yep.
You know, and decide. I mean, it's a very personal decision.
personal decision.
I didn't start doing Botox actually till I was 36 years old, which is kind of unheard of these days.
Yeah, that's like later.
But I didn't get any kind of
Wrinkles until then. Yeah.
And it was my 11s, you know, my glabella hair. And there's
That's
still,
what I like.
I still can't, and I've had those since I was 18 years old, like little, but they're never going to go away completely.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay.
Yeah. My last question
Yes.
is about dermaplaning. So it's something that we do
I love it.
every time I come see you. And I'm gonna actually do it to you this weekend because I've got
Yes.
my own little tool. It's
You're not doing anything to me
Forehead.
without her authorization.
Yeah.
It's the best ever. And honestly, no one does it as well as Dalin. The amount of skin that comes off is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just part of, like I said, you do a custom facial. You do whatever anyone needs, but tell them what dermaplaning is and why is there this misconception that your hair is going to grow back
Okay, so nothing,
thicker,
nothing
like you're going to get a beard.
Yeah, I know. Nothing changes. The hair growth pattern, the density of your hair, the color, nothing changes except hormones and medication, okay? So women in Europe have been shaving their faces for years, okay? That's just what they do. It gets rid of that dead skin layer and all that vellus hair so that when you put on product, you have better absorption. I think I originally started doing it because when you put on a chemical like a lactic acid on the skin, there's no barrier.
Right.
Okay, you don't have to fight through that
Absorbs.
barrier.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like kind of like when I do lactic acid, I want to dermaplane everyone. Because everyone, you have a natural glow when you dermaplane.
Yeah.
I even dermaplane men on the forehead. I'll do their noses and I do around their eyes. Because that's an area that you're not exfoliating when you're shaving. So it's nice to take that off. So let Kelley do that to you.
Just like removing the
Yeah. Okay, so it's what I use.
sort of kitchen knife situation.
No, so I actually...
It's really small.
I use a scalpel handle, and a lot of
I don't
people,
have that.
a
You're
lot
not
of
doing
people
that to
get
me.
a
You're
little
not.
freaked out, and they want to see it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to show you what looks like a scalpel because it basically is, but it's a blade that's specifically made for dermaplaning.
Okay.
So you can harm the face, but I actually went to school for 3 days to do it, and now people get a class for an hour.
That's
Okay.
scary.
Yeah, you're not touching me. You
No,
break
I don't
a,
have
you
that.
break
She
a ditch
doesn't.
every night.
She doesn't have that blade, Chad.
I don't.
She doesn't have that blade.
I have an at-home
But to me,
situation.
dermaplaning is it's
everything.
magical. It's everything. Okay, the only skin I don't do it on
Is
is
acne.
sometimes I won't do it over an acne lesion, but maybe if there's another area on their face like their cheek or forehead that's dry that just sort of needs kind of a little oomph, a little zhuzh, I'll do it there.
Okay.
The other skin I generally won't do it on is a real oily skin because the hair on your face serves as a wick for that oil. So if you don't have that wick absorbing the oil, you've got like this sort of oil slick on your face, which when
Okay.
women try to put makeup on, it doesn't look good.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but nothing changes your hair growth, color, except hormones, medication. Write that down.
Thank you. That is what everyone needed to hear. Okay. So I feel like we could literally keep going on and on forever.
We can do
Like,
3 more
this has
podcasts,
been-
although Chad might be like, I got to go.
I'm intrigued by every topic.
You are. I think you really are. But since we're going to wrap up, because we want to be respectful of your time, we have these quick fire questions that we go through with everyone. So we'll kind of bounce back and forth, and I'll start. So what is your morning routine?
Do you want to know my skin routine or my routine when I get out of bed?
Both.
So I'm such a creature of habit. I get out of bed. I go down to the freezer. I grab my cold roller, and I know you love a cold roller too.
Ice roller.
Can't live out with my ice roller. I make my espresso. I literally am going out the door, making sure there's not a coyote in my backyard for my dogs. And basically, I'll get back into bed, and I think about my day. I kind of decompress to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row for what I need that time in the morning, because I am an empath. And so when I know I'm going to see people all day and take care of them, I need to make sure my energy is good, whether that's meditating or praying. That's kind of my time. My skincare routine in the morning, I never cleanse in the morning because I don't think that dry skin should cleanse, because that's vitamin E that you're secreting while you're sleeping. It's this lovely anti-ager.
I love that.
Yeah. It's so amazing. People strip it away too much. I always tell people, leave it on your skin for try not to dry or cleanse your skin for a week and see if you notice a difference.
Yeah.
Vitamin C always, hyaluronic acid always, moisturizer, sunscreen. There are some mornings where my skin looks a little dull or it needs something, so I will mask. And then I will also take another roller and roll my face.
What's the best mask for if you're dull?
Osmosis Mango, or one of the probably Osmosis Mango mask it's called. I think it's like, you know the movie The Greek, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where he used Windex to, it was his, okay, so Mango mask from Osmosis is my crack. Probably Summer Fridays.
Oh yeah.
I love their masks. Oh, there's so many.
That's good. No, I feel like those are really good options.
And people need to mask more.
Yeah.
People need to mask more.
Definitely. And then you usually work out, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
So, you know what? I have a reformer in my house, and yes, I always stretch. I'm a big, I have to watch my body mechanics when I work, so I always am really good at stretching, but I do Pilates. I used to do it more in the morning, so COVID's changed my life a bit.
What's the best thing you've eaten this week? I assume something vegan or vegetarian?
Well, I love Mexican food. I grilled some vegetables and I made it like a taco. Like, I love salsa.
That's what we had last night.
Oh yeah.
No lie.
I love salsa.
Me too.
Oh my God. Like anything, put salsa on anything. And I also had I got some Erewhon gluten-free bread. And I literally made a almond butter and I put jelly on it, and I'm like, God, this is so good.
So good.
I know what they're doing over there.
I love simple food, like just yeah.
Okay, so I'm like kind of more spiritual and woo.
Yes.
If you were a color, what color would you be?
Like this perfect shade of pink, probably like that book right there, the Kandinsky book. I don't even know how you explain it.
Oh, it's a very like magenta, vibrant.
Yeah, that just moves me. Like I see that color and go, oh.
Okay, yeah, I can see that in you for sure.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I feel like you're very like vibrant. You're very like
it's playful to me
playful.
too.
Yeah, definitely, and like
calming.
youthful.
Yeah.
What is on your nightstand?
Oh God. Kind of embarrassing. I have so many skin tools on my nightstand. I have a lot of
a surgeon with the.
I do. I have my new face, and I have a zip. Those are both microcurrent. We could probably talk about microcurrent. We didn't even talk about that.
I know.
I have those on my nightstand. I also have the most delicious candle from Goop. It's Edition 04. Do you have that one?
No, I haven't gotten that one.
Oh, I even have their fragrance. Yeah. And then to me, poetry is like my affirmation. It's my go-to. So I have Cleo Wade's new book, Heart Talk. And I also have just a little treasure for me. It's a book, 10 Poems to Change Your Life. Oh. That when I first moved here, Darylyn from Pilates?
Yeah.
She bought that for me. So that's on my nightstand. And I think that's about all, but just a lot of tools.
I love that. I love that. I love the poetry too. I feel like that's different. We haven't heard that before.
I love poetry. No. I've always, my sister was really into poetry, so I've always I love poetry. Cleo Wade too, I think is really cool. So.
Okay, so I know you're not very chaotic. You're actually one of the more calm people I know.
Really?
So give our listeners, because you have a lot going on in your life, give our listeners your best tip for balancing the chaos.
Well, as I've gotten older, I try not to be so reactive.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's so easy to be reactive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like the little thing like, oh gosh, there's no dog food.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's no dog food, right?
Yeah.
You just and then more spirals from that, right? I also am really good at managing my energy. That time when I'm in bed in the morning and my boyfriend laughs at me because I go back to bed, it's kind of like my bed is my kind of my like sanctuary. Like,
that's what I tell her, honey. 10 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love 10 hours. It's my sanctuary. So I kind of manage my energy and where I'm going to put it in a day.
Yeah, I love that.
And I don't watch certain movies on certain days. My diet is more than just food. It's the people. And I will only talk to one person when I'm driving to work, and that is my best friend, Mary. I will not talk to anybody else.
Yeah, because it has an effect on your energy.
I will only listen to certain music.
Yeah.
And then another thing for me for balancing chaos, and I got this from my dad growing up, is that I try not to really think about what other people think about me too much. And as my dad always says, what other people think about you is none of your business.
Yes.
And so I really try to live by that, because if you have a problem with me, tell me. But I'm not going to spend my time worrying. And I think when you worry a lot about things like that, your life can get out of control, and then you're just controlling the chaos. And
Yeah.
So anyway,
that was so perfect, Dalin. Thank you so much. We're definitely going to have you come back. Because like you said, we didn't talk about the new face.
We didn't talk about devices, face devices.
So thank you so much for being with us. And I know everyone's going to love this episode.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also connect with us on social media at Wellness by Kelley. Drop us a DM for who you want to hear from.